internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
Take on it.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world. XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over SWIFT one day?
Well,
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24 Hours of Crypto. Let's get right into today's episode. Listen very carefully because this might be the most important video you ever watch about XRP. Right now, the entire crypto market is only at $3.7 trillion. That's it, $3 trillion. But by 2030, the world is changing forever. Tokenization alone is projected to surpass $15 trillion. Stablecoins, another $3 trillion. And that's just the beginning. And in a moment, you'll see a little chart. But the importance of tokenization and how 99% of the world's population has no idea how big this is going to be and how impactful it is going to be to XRP, directly and indirectly. We were reading PDFs, 38 pages, where your average person will never even read or entertain. But these PDFs, it was gold. Talking about tokenization. The title, The Next Generation Monetary and Financial System. Key takeaways. Tokenization represents a transformative innovation to both improve the old and enable the new. It paves the way for new arrangements and cross-border payments, securities, markets, and beyond. Tokenized platforms with central bank reserves, commercial bank money, and government bonds at the center can lay the groundwork for the next generation monetary and financial system. And underneath all of this is you have this little thing that has dirt all over it, and that is XRP. And I want to tell you, I'm going to zoom out, and I want you to really understand that this cannot be a lopsided price for XRP in terms of how much value is on chain. Before I get into the bullishness of what's ahead of us and how many lives are going to be changed within the next 6 to 12 months on a mass scale. The SEC chair coming out and stating that most of crypto assets are not securities. We already knew this. We knew there was a movie going on, right? We were watching it this whole time. And folks, I just want to say this, and I really want this to be concreted in your heads, because the values right now of some of these digital assets are insane. Monumental bottoms, generational bottoms is what I like to call it, because you are going to see, you could clip me, see these things go crazy in the next 6 to 12 months on a very conservative scale. And I'm talking crazy, okay? And if you guys didn't know, it's probably live by now, but the Salute NFTs, it says right now at the time of recording, minting in 2 hours. Let's see, and go ahead and refresh that. Minting in 2 hours, so less than 2 hours. The link is in the description down below. In order to mint a Salute NFT, you would need to download the Joey wallet. The link is in the description down below, available for iPhone and Android. Very easy. All you got to do is do the download, save your private keys, deposit XRP, and once you're in the app, at the bottom right corner, you're going to see a compass-looking thing. You're going to click on that, and at the top left corner, you're going to see XRP Cafe. And you go ahead and click on that, and then search up Salute. Once you're in there, you will see our NFT drop. And also, visit our Twitter page. It is in the Telegram, the link in the description down below, and also our Twitter. And you could click the link through there and verify the NFT. But let's zoom out here and look at what's really going on. The FX market, you guys all know, $10 trillion every single day. And in real estate, debt, bonds, stocks, derivatives, RWAs, you're looking at a conservative $19 trillion that is going to flow on chain. And I'm being so conservative. It's disgusting how much I'm being conservative, because if you just listen to what the DTCC is saying publicly.
Assets in the world, depending on whose report you read, it varies between 300 trillion and 700 trillion. It is my firm belief that everything everything can be tokenized. So it's not just big, it's huge. So I think there's this correlation between liquidity and tokenization. We'll see that push there. But at some point, I think the liquidity, the ease of administration, the velocity of distribution of collateral, right? The sky's the limit. So Lawrence, my guess will be someday everything will be tokenized, and we won't stop until that day comes. So
there's a couple of things that are a little bit different about this. This is the first time in our history where we've seen actually retail lead and institutional follow. But
it's very different. And I've been out in Silicon Valley for about 20 years. The thing that's very different about what's happening now versus the dot-com bubble is the dot-com bubble, it was the institutional investors who were in, and then retail came on top and priced things up. The exact opposite has happened here. You have retail and kind of speculative interest already in the market, and now you have institutional money starting to come in.
Insane, right? And here's the part nobody's telling you. Once that real economic value comes on chain, it cannot move without deep liquidity and market depth. And that is the backbone of all of this. Okay, they need that, and that's the XRP ledger. And please understand that we have yet to see any real economical value come into these markets. Let me break this down so, you can't even argue this. Market depth is how much XRP is available to handle these insane volumes without price slippage. And liquidity is how fast that XRP can be moved globally to settle real value. You need both if you want a financial system that can handle trillions in tokenized flows without breaking. Bitcoin can't do that, and you can't dispute that. That's a fact. Ethereum can't do that on a scale that Ripple and the XRP ledger can. Okay, Ripple and XRP are the chosen infrastructures. As much as it sounds crazy, we have been saying this since the inception of this YouTube channel years ago. And in 2025, we could say it is the chosen one, right? Algorand, Chainlink, Hedera, they're all going to coexist and work together on the Axelar, but none of them can scale and function like XRP can. And they all have different use cases. Ripple today is one of the most regulated entities in the entire crypto space. At this point, it's a household name. You guys all know that. Banks, institutions, and governments already know it. In 2015, the IMF, the World Economic Forum, was calling Ripple a pioneer. So now imagine this, right? 19 trillion in conservative flows for the whole market, ETFs locking up XRP, stablecoins like RLUSD and USDC using XRP rails, tokenized bonds, real estate, and derivatives flying on chain, billions and trillions. Do you understand the kind of liquidity shock that's coming for XRP? This isn't just.
But, especially what the banks are doing. I think last week a new kind of consortium of banks said, hey, we, rolling out this new stable coin. Does that kind of freeze you guys out, or?
I think it's actually helpful. One of the problems that people have is the ability to hold digital assets can be difficult, particularly with the volatility in some digital assets. Stable coins are safer to hold if you can trust the issuer. So I think to that extent, it can be helpful because you still need liquidity. So if you imagine a dollar stable coin issued by JPM, and you have maybe some other dollar coins issued by companies like Circle, and everybody seems to be issuing a stable coin. And then you have stable coins in other currencies, because if you're not in the United States, a dollar coin is not really all that stable. You still need liquidity between those stable coins. And I think it's also important to remember that these stable coins have counterparties, and there isn't a universal counterparty. There isn't some counterparty that everybody in the world can have equal access to. It's going to have to be in some jurisdiction. It's going to have to be part of some regulatory regime. And so I think if the vision is this sort of open participation, this sort of internet of money, collateralized stable coins will be players, but I think there will still have to be liquidity between them. And if you
a moonshot. This is, like I always say, the financial infrastructure pretty much flipping overnight. And you guys heard what Brad Garlinghouse said himself, right? For the first time in history, retail investors got in before the institutions. And you and I are both holding an asset that has been heavily studied and heavily, are still to this day by billionaires, okay? Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Chris Larsen, billionaires, Silicon Valley, entrepreneurs, all holding XRP, and this is a fact. And if you want to sit there and if you want to laugh about it saying you have no proof of that, you are a pigeon brain, okay? You are absolutely no good to this world if you think, you know, that's not factual. We put so much information out there stating their correlations with Ripple and XRP to this date. But again, people are already getting priced out. They're never going to accumulate to the amounts of XRP that you guys have accumulated for the past years. Okay, people are going to be very sour in the next coming years. Please understand that. They had this right in front of their eyes the whole single time. But yeah, you're holding an asset that is held and studied by billionaires. They all had that same vision.
Money altogether going from digital dollars, from any kind of government-backed currency to purely private currencies. And what a private currency or what private money I think fundamentally means is that there is no medium of exchange. You exchange value for value.
Ripple is really a second generation of the Bitcoin concept. And as many of you know, Bitcoin and Ripple are really two things. They are a new global currency, what we call a math-based currency.
Our goal was nothing less than to replace the US dollar by creating a new digital currency.
That's insane. That's you, that's me, and that's exactly why you're seeing the markets pretty much manipulated right now. You think the reason volatility is real? It's the same psychological warfare we lived through during CV19. Remember how they brainwashed people to flinch at sneezes and coughs, convinced that every little thing would kill you? That's how they run these markets. They want fear, they want doubt, they want you to sell. Meanwhile, the real game is just beginning. And when this ecosystem grows from 3 trillion to 20 trillion to 30 trillion to 50 to 100 and beyond, much higher than 100 trillion, right? XRP will not be sitting at these prices. And most people will miss it because they got shaken out right before the historic move. So let me leave you with this. Remember, please remember, you're holding the backbone of the future financial system. Don't let them play you, and don't ever question your investment into XRP. XRP, since day one, had that vision. It has played by their blueprint, their vision. They have executed. XRP is the bridge. And when trillions and billions start moving, it's game over. It is game over. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I got a $100,000 trade open right now for XRP. It was a $200,000 trade. However, I took out $100,000 from it because if we go down a little bit more, I'm still waiting. I'll give you guys a little bit of an update. I'm still waiting on the 1-day confirmation candle. The 4-hour kind of looks bullish, bullish to where we are right now. Okay, if this chart loads. But the 4-hour does look bullish right now. It's holding steady. And we may, if this closes here and then starts the next leg up, 317, we may see a big move. So right now, a very volatile, low leverage, folks, low leverage. But XRP, a huge move is coming. It's going to be so massive that all the haters are not going to know what to say. They're not going to know what to say. So with that being said, the NFT drop live, link in the description down below. Probably is by now. It probably says minting in 1 hour. No, it still says 2 hours. But download the Joey wallet, send over the XRP, and then it's just like setting up the Phantom wallet. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with another video.
It started with a vision, now it's spreading wide. SLT's the token, it's our Degen pride. 24-hour crypto, leading the call, bringing XRP believers, united we stand tall. First ledger's on fire, trades like the scene. SLT's the movement, power in the dream. From the memes to the moon, we're making it real. 100 XRP, that's the deal. I salute you, you salute me. Together in XRP we believe. From the trenches to the skies we see. XRP to 100 destiny. This ain't just a token, it's a battle cry. For those who who know XRP will fly high. Salute is the name, SLT the ticker. First ledger's buzzing, trades getting quicker. Building the future, brick by brick. In a world powered by Ripple, the vision will stick. We're more than a meme, it's a movement strong. XRP believers, let's prove them wrong. I salute you, you salute me. Together in XRP we believe. From the trenches to the skies we see. XRP to hunt a destiny. 24 hours crypto, the captain of the crew. SLT's the anthem, for the bold and true. Through the dips and the pumps, we stand and fight. Believing in the ledger, in the dawn's bright light. I salute you, you salute me. Together in XRP we believe. From the trenches to the skies we see. XRP to hunt a destiny. So raise your SLT, let the world hear the sound. XRP believers, we're Ripple bound. From the memes to the charts, the vision is clear. Salute to the future, the time is near. I salute you, you salute me. Together in XRP we believe. From the trenches to the skies we see. XRP to hunt a destiny.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch. I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.